Hello, this is Tom from BlackToad Studio and welcome to another BlackToad battle report. We are playing 2,000 points here. I am playing my Orks and they'll be up against Crimson Fists, so quite a nice matchup. So here's my Ork army, so let's go into detail here. So as you can see, quite a nice size force, 2,000 points. Leading the main detachment, which is a battalion, we have War Boss Mazdroz. He has a custom shooter and power claw. He's also got the one of the claws that allows him to re-roll wounds, which that's the kill claw, that's the one. We also have a weird boy there. He's currently got just the jump and no other upgrades, and obviously a staff. And then the troop choices for that battalion are 3 squads of Ork boys, and they range from having 23 to 26 in each of the units. I just did it to round out some of the points towards the end, so they're quite nice sized boys. There's also 2 shooters, big shooters in each of those squads as well. 2 of the squads are led by a boss knob with a power claw, and one of them, which is this one over here, has a big chopper. Then we head on to the second detachment, which is a spearhead detachment, which is actually using some of the new rules from the Psychic Awakening book, and that is basically their class as tin heads, and that basically means all the walkers and the mega knobs there have +1 to hit, which is a pretty cool thing. So hopefully that will come in handy. But let's go into a bit more detail. So we have the big mech from Legends here with a custom mega shooter, or mega blaster, sorry. It's not quite the right model, but it's the only one I had to represent it. We also have here 2 squads of mech guns. We have 3 custom mega blasters and 3 smasher guns. So looking forward to getting them firing. We have 3 Death Dreads at the back here. One has got all of the combat claws. One has got rocket and scorcher, and the other one has the 2 big shooters, which is this one here, which has got his nice big defiler claws locked on there. Nice conversion done by a friend of mine. We have a Morkanaut with custom force field. He also has a custom job on the claw, which basically means that I think it's the God Claw, which basically means he can always, when he does a wound, always does a minimum of 4 damage. So if you roll a 1, 2, or 3, it always counts as 4. We also then have 3 Mega Knobs with kill saws, all kill saws. And then we have a squad of killer cans, 6 of them there. We've got varying weapons in there, but obviously we have, I think we've got a big shooter in there, we've got a scorcher, we've got 2 grot zookas and 2 rockets. So that is basically the 2,000 point army. We'll now head over and see what the Crimson Fists have brought to the fight. And here is 2,000 points of Crimson Fists. It's obviously a slightly smaller force because there's quite a few elite units in here. We are led by Pedro Cantor down here, a lieutenant who's going to have a Stalker bolt rifle and also a librarian and Terminator armour. We then have 3 troop choices. We have a 9-man tank squad, both with a missile launcher in each, and the sergeants both have a different weapon. We've got a power sword and a power fist. We then have an intercessor squad over here with the sergeant with his power sword. And then we move on to some elite choices, which is the aggressors here with all the bolters in the world. We have a Hellblaster squad here, 10-man with the standard plasma incinerators. And then over here we have the dreaded Leviathan with dual storm cannons that should be pumping out quite a few shots. We have a all kind of light weaponry Predator here, so we've got an autocannon heavy bolters, and then we have a repulsor which is upgraded to the gills as usual, so plenty of stuff on there that can cause Orks some pain. So that's 2,000 points of Crimson Fists. We'll now get on to deployment in the game. Okay, so here we are. We have the mission and the deployment all done. So we are playing 4 pillars, and for those of you who don't know what that is, sorry. Essentially we have 4 objectives. We have one here, here, and here. They can only be controlled by troops, and the goal is at the end of each battle round, if you're holding more of those than the enemy, you score a point. If you're holding all 4, which probably won't come up in this game obviously because we've only got 3 troops each, you score 3 points. Other than that, we've got Slay the Warlord, Line Breaker, and First Strike, and also an additional bit in this game is no prisoners. So for every unit that you kill, you also gain 1 victory point. So at the moment, the Orks are going first because Vicky decides to be the defender. So she's going to roll here and see if she steals the initiative. No, so we'll be right back in a minute with Orks turn 1. Okay, so Orks turn 1 movement at the end here. As you can see, we've made a bit of a move up the field. All the dreads ran here, so the killer cans and the death dreads all ran. One of them got a 12-inch move, which is quite good. This is this one here. The Ork boys have moved up onto the objectives because obviously we do need to hold them. I do want to go full with them, but we might have some magic tricks up our sleeves at the back over here. Also, the Morkanaut over here did move up. It just did a normal move because it's got an 8-inch move. And also, just before I carry on, I meant to mention that my main detachment is Bad Moon, so I'm re-rolling 1s on shooting. And also, I did give my war boss the 4 invulnerable save from the best armor, the best armor Teeth can buy. So that's movement. We'll now move on to psychic and shooting. Okay, so the Orks have spun up their crazy weaponry and fired what they could in this round. So the only thing that could actually shoot was the Morkanaut and the mech guns, his smasher guns. So all the smasher guns could just see the Dreadnought peeking behind there. We actually took 4 wounds off it in the end. It was pretty good. I actually got a load of shots. And then the Morkanaut here fired the big shooters, 2 twin big shooters, and the mega zapper over this way. The shooters went into the intercessors here. We didn't do any wounds because of prepared positions. And we didn't manage to wound the Leviathan. So yeah, but fair enough. We took 4 wounds off it with the smasher guns. Unfortunately, the custom mega cannons over here were not in range because I forgot they're only 36, not 48 like the smasher guns. So that is actually the end of Orks turn 1. We're now going to head over to Crimson Fists turn 1. Okay, so the Crimson Fists have finished their turn 1 movement. A little bit of move up here because a lot of their weapons were out of range at the beginning. The Repulsors jumped over here and landed in this little gap. That Tactical Squad's moved up to the objective, so have the Intercessors there. So we're now 2 objectives apiece. There won't be any scoring from normal scoring methods. Leviathan has taken a brave step forward, stepping into the line of fire over there, but it's pretty tough and reliable. And back here we had the Hellblasters come out from behind their hiding place over here. So a little bit of a bunch up over here. Orcs still got plenty to do, as do the Crimson Fists. So we'll be back in a minute with Psyche and Shooting, turn 1 for Crimson Fists. Okay, so the Crimson Fists retaliation was swift and reasonably strong. So over here, the Repulsor fired into the boys with the heavy stubber, and also this front Death Dread with the twin las cannons, taking 3 wounds off them, killing a couple of boys in there because obviously they're in the heavy doctrine at the moment, or devastator doctrine, so I couldn't do any saves. Slightly worse story over here. I've left the dice there. That was for my Breaking Heads roll from the War Boss. So they lost 3 more on top of basically almost every single unit, and that was a firing solution from the Dread here, firing and killing off majority of them, but it also was backed up by the Predator here and the Intercessors, really withering fire. However, they might come back. Vicky is not happy about that, but if you're gonna stamp out some fungus, stamp it out properly. That's what I say. Other than that, we had a few shots from this tactical squad here into this boys unit, but didn't really do too much damage, luckily for me. So yeah, that's the end of turn 1 for the Crimson Fists, and we'll be right back with turn 2 for the Orks. Also, just before we do move on, no one scored any points there because there's no first strike, and also we are holding equal amounts of objectives. Okay, so we've just ended the Orks turn 2 movement. Over here I paid 3 command points for this really banged up boy squad and had them come in on this side. My current objective is to try and secure this objective, which will make it a bit harder for the Crimson Fist to hold it. However, there's so many guns over here. It's slightly fearful. I've got a slight bit of fear. Over here, all of the walkers decided to run. We've got some pretty good runs here. I've got a 12-inch total move with the killer cans, and so did this front Dread here. So they're all up at the front. These two are lagging a little bit behind. But hey, I did have to move up the custom mega cannons here because they were out of range of the repulsor. So they're going to be firing at -1. I've left the smasher cannon zone because they've got their quarry right in front of them. And the Morkanaut here moved up normally just so it could still fire its weapons because I might be able to skin a couple of wounds off. So yeah, that's the end of movement for the Orks. And over here, I'm going to do some psychic. Okay, so at the end of the psychic and shooting phases for Orks in turn 2, down here, the weird boy here put the jump on the units of boys that he had at the back here and flew them all the way across the battlefield to here. They landed alongside, obviously, with the reserved over here. There was an all-spec scan done which killed a few units in this squad, and that was basically from that tactical squad there. I think they killed off 4. Other shooting of note, the mega cannons here all fired into the repulsor, taking it down to 5 wounds, so that's not bad going. However, a slightly different story on the other side of the board. All the smasher guns fired into the Dreadnought and didn't do anything. And then the Morkanaut here fired all of its kind of long-range weaponry into the Hellblasters, and I think we took 1 out. Then all the other weaponry, so like the short-range rockets and blasters, into the Intercessor squad, and I think we took 2 out there as well. So yeah, not too bad. So unfortunately that dreadnought is still swinging. So that is the end of shooting and psychic. We're now going to head on into combat. Okay, so as the Orks combat finishes, over here we managed to kill off 5 Marines with a charge here. The charge from this squad failed by 1 inch, even with the reroll. So sadly, it's just these boys on their own at the moment. However, they are in combat, so I have to make a decision about moving them out, I presume. So that is the end of turn 2 for the Orks. We're going to head into turn 2 for Crimson Fists, and let's see what happens. Okay, so Crimson Fists, turn 2, end of movement phase. In here, this remaining squad of tactical marines has broken back a little bit, just because obviously it opens them up for shooting. The repulsor is still here. In the middle here, Cantor and his crew have moved up to make sure they give a good 6-inch bubble to the Hellblasters and the Leviathan, so this could be quite a painful shooting turn. So that's all the movement over there, and obviously the aggressors have just shot up the table a little bit there just to get closer to anything that might be lurking inside the Morkanaut. So that is the end of the movement phase. We'll head on to the psychic and shooting now, and let's see what the Crimson Fists do. Okay, so the Crimson Fists have finished their psychic and shooting phases. The Librarian tried to put Might of Heroes onto the Dreadnought again, but this time actually failed, if I remember correctly. So he doesn't have toughness 9. Unfortunately over here, with the combined fire of the Hellblasters and... Actually, there was a few shots from the aggressors as well, but mainly the Leviathan. I think we did a total of 20-something wounds to the Morkanaut over there, so he is definitely off the board. Didn't explode. And the guys got out there, and in the ensuing fire that came from the intercessors, which was the only thing left over here that could shoot in that area, 1 wound was done to one of them, so one's on 2 wounds. Over to this side of the board, we had this big boy squad over here, which has pretty much been decimated by the combined fire of the Repulsor, this tactical squad, the Predator. Yeah, so pretty nasty stuff. So I actually do need to do leadership for these. I need to roll very low. That'll do. I'll take off the casualties and we'll be right back in a moment. Okay, turn 3 for the Orks. And as you can see here, this right hand side of the board, so I'm determining it. All these dreads have moved up again. They all ran, so they've all advanced. This one's still on 1 wound, just about hanging in there. This squad has moved up 6 to just get near the objective, and obviously there's quite a few things over here. I'm going to try something a bit risky in my psychic phase in a minute, but we'll see what happens. Over to this side of the board, the Meganobs have made their slow advance towards the aggressors. I think it's going to be some painful Overwatch, but we can give it a go. Yeah, so that's my movement, other than the psychic here did drop forward, just so he got in range of the war boss. Don't know why. Seems to be quite interested in doing something with him. So yeah, we're now heading into Orks turn 3 psychic and shooting. However, just so you are aware, the score currently stands at 2-0 to the Crimson Fist, because they were holding more objectives than me at the end of last turn, plus they killed the Morkanaut. So let's go into Orks turn 3 psychic and shooting. Okay, so Orks turn 3 psychic and shooting. I did try to put the jump onto the war boss, and I failed even with the reroll. I'm actually down to 1 command point now, because I was going to drop him in here so that the Death Dread could potentially charge the Repulsor if it was actually still alive. However, the custom mega cannons over here managed to obliterate it just about, and on an exact roll of 5 on its 1 damage it did. They also took a mortal wound each on this one and this one, which I marked with a dice. Over here, all the guns that could fire, so the pistols here and the big shooters all fired into this squad here, taking it down to 1 remaining Marine. I then played the stick bombs stratagem for the Meganobs over here, threw all the grenades into the aggressors there, but apparently they are very agile and managed to avoid the 10 grenades I threw at them. So, also the smasher guns here fired into the Hellblasters, because I thought I might try and thin them out a bit. We ended up wounding 2, then I rolled a 1 for damage, so I only killed 1. But never mind, I did feel it was a slightly better chance than trying to kill the Leviathan at the moment, but we'll see if that pays off later. So that's the end of psychic and shooting for the Orks. We're now going to go into the assault phase and just see if we can finish off this lonely little Marine. Okay, so the end of Orks combat phase. Over here, this squad and the remaining boss knob managed to take out that lowly remaining Marine. He ran off, well, I presume he's been looted. And then over this side of the board, Meganobs did all right, although I rolled about 5 1s on wounding, which wasn't brilliant. So they are, yeah, they're in there. They got a fight back, killed one of my Meganobs off and left it 1-on-1 wound. So that's the end of combat there. So yeah, that is the end of turn 3 for the Orks. We're now going to move to turn 3 for Crimson Fists, and let's see what the retaliation is. Okay, so the Crimson Fists have started their turn 3 movement here. Obviously the Walker here has decided to come back and deal with this squad of boys hiding around the corner, along with all the dreads moving up this side of the board. A little bit slow moving for them, but we'll see if they get there eventually. Top of that, Intercessors have stayed still, but the Hellblasters have moved over to this side of the board to lend some assistance, and also notably, the aggressor has moved out of combat, obviously freeing up some shots to go into the Mega Knobs, but we'll see what happens there. So that is the end of turn 3 movement for the Crimson Fists. Let's see what happens during the psychic and shooting phases. Okay, so Crimson Fists have finished their psychic and shooting. First of all, Might of Heroes was cast on the Leviathan again, which did go off, so it's toughness 9 again. We then had a pile-in of shots into here, killing off 7 boys, although they passed the leadership because they can't defend it because they're currently a very high leadership. On top of that, the Predator here fired in and finished off that Death Dread that was on 1 wound, and then the Leviathan opened up into the kill cans or killer cans and took out 3 of them and then left 1 on 4 wounds, and that was from basically a shot from the Hellblasters over here. Also, this tactical squad here fired a missile over this way but didn't do any damage, but did do quite a bit of damage to the squad in front of them here. However, they did manage to obviously hide themselves around the corner here quite well in the end, so they are still on that objective. So that is actually the end of Crimson Fist's turn 3, and the scores at the end of this one, Vicky did actually get 2 extra points that one for killing things, so the Mega Knobs and that Death Dread. I also managed to get a point for holding this objective and this objective now with troops, because Vicky's only on 1, so I've got 1 more than her. So that is the end of turn 3. We're going to head on to turn 4 for the Orks. Okay, so we just hit turn 4 movement for the Orks, and over here the Killer Cans have made a move, standard move up, because they're going to try and shoot some of their weapons. The Death Dreads both ran. Front one did a little bit better than the rear one, but they're getting up to that corner there. This squad of boys has stayed put, not liking really what's around that corner just at the moment. And then over here, the Mech Guns had to move up there 3 inches to get in range of that squad there, because there's nothing else they can actually shoot at the moment. The Weird Boy moved up to here just to get behind this squad. And then finally, obviously the Smash Guns have stayed still because they've got 48-inch range, so they should be able to shoot at the Leviathan again. But we're right back in a minute with Psychic and Shooting. Okay, turn 4 for the Crimson, sorry, not Crimson, the Orks, Psychic and Shooting. I did try to get another jump off on the boss, but didn't actually work, sadly, yet again. Failed by 1. Over here, the Kill Cans fired all their shots into this Marine squad, along with what could shoot from this squad, and didn't actually end up doing anything. However, the guns on the hill here managed to come into the Marines over here, and I think we took 2 out in the end, so not too bad. The Smasher Guns also all fired back into the Leviathan, and we managed to wound twice. 1 was saved, but we took another 3 wounds off it, so we're slowly chipping its armour away. However, it may disappear in the corner in a minute, we don't know. We shall see. So, as I haven't really got anything I can assault with at the moment, we're now going to head on to Crimson Fists, turn 4. Okay, here we go. Crimson Fist, turn 4. Movement has just ended, and as you can see, they are making their move around this corner. The Dread just about making it around the corner with a 5-inch move, because it has gone down a bracket. The Hellblasters here getting a bead on quite a few of the bits of armor around that corner. However, the Intercessors obviously having to stay still because they're holding that other objective, and if they come off there, then it obviously gives me free reign to grab both of these. However, I'm not sure how many Orks are going to be left around this corner in a minute. We shall see. Anyway, we'll head over to Psychic and Shooting, and let's see what happens. Okay, so at the end of Crimson Fist turn 4, because there won't be an assault phase, the Psychic and Shooting done. We had the Mighty Heroes put back onto the Dreadnought again. We then had basically the Predator here, the Hellblasters, the Tac Squad, and also the Leviathan. Oh no, the Leviathan, sorry, fired into the Orks here, which as you can see are no longer there. But everything else pretty much fired into the Killer Cans, and they have now been wiped off. So that's got 2 more points over to Vicky for the basically no prisoners rule in this game. So that's basically all of this turn. We're now heading to turn 5 for the Orks. Let's see if they can turn the green tide. Okay, really simple movement for the Orks in turn 5. The 2 Death Dreads ran up this way because I am going to try something in the Psychic phase again, but we'll see what happens. So they are now well within range of stuff, although the Overwatch could be horrendous. So yes, we're back in a moment with Psychic and Shooting for the Orks in turn 5. Okay, so we've now ended the Psychic and Shooting phase, and as you can see here, the War Boss has made a little tactical jump over here because it's put him within 6 inches of both the Death Dreads there, so hopefully they can make their way into combat in a second, we shall see. However, they also did shoot all of their assault weapons, along with the Mega Cannons here, into They're no longer there, Leviathan. Didn't blow up though, which was actually probably a blessing for both of us. So that is now gone, so I've got me an extra point, but we'll now head on into the combat phase and see if the Orks can do some more damage. And actually, I was about to do my assault phase, but then I just realised I had misread something because I haven't played Orks for a while, and obviously the charging after advance only affects infantry Ork units, and obviously the Death Dreads aren't infantry, so they're a little bit stuck there now. That obviously we still did kill the Leviathan, so it's not too bad. However, we're now going to head on into Crimson Fists, turn 5, and let's see what happens to these Death Dreads. Okay, so as Crimson Fists finished their movement phase over here, the tactical squad has made a move up, not quite in range of the objective just yet because the Dread is blocking it. However, the Hellblasters have moved around along with Cantor, Librarian and the Lieutenant, and also that Aggressor made an advance move just to get itself over into range. That is all the movement. We're now going to head on to the Psychic and Shooting, and let's see what happens. Okay, so here we are with Crimson Fists, turn 5, end of Psychic and Shooting. The Mighty Heroes was put onto Cantor, so he's a bit tougher, stronger. And then everything that was here, basically, apart from the tactical greens, all shot into the 2 Death Dreads, and they are gone. Nothing exploded. Pretty brutal shooting, but obviously Hellblasters are pretty good at that kind of thing. And then essentially all the other weapons that was left over, so the Librarian, Cantor's weapon, and the tactical squad, and the Aggressor, they're all shot into Warboss and took him down to 2 wounds. And now we're going to go head on to the assault phase and see what happens. Okay, so Crimson Fists did try to make an assault, however didn't quite make it with the Librarian, so decide not to charge the tactical squad as well. So that's the end of turn 5, and actually could be the end of the game unless we roll a 3 up, which I'm just going to roll here. No, we're going for another turn, so we're going on to turn 6 for the Orks. And just before we start turn 6, to update you on the scores, obviously 2 more Death Dreads die there, so it's another 2 points, plus at the end of that round, these 2 were in scoring range, so that's a +1 for that as well. So what's your total score at the moment?
9.
A 9 to my 5. So let's just see if the Orks can possibly try a couple more little psychic tricks to try and even the score. Okay, turn 6 for the Orks, and the only bit of movement we did was the Warboss making a small move this way, and hopefully going to be arriving with some reinforcements in a minute, although if they doesn't, I feel like the Warboss's days are numbered. So let's head on to turn 6 Psychic and Shooting and see if we can even the odds up on this side of the board. Okay, so as the Orks commenced and the ending of their shooting and psychic phase, we did get the jump off, so this squad has managed to move itself over here to assist the Warboss. Then all the mega cannons fired into the Hellblasters, and I think we killed 3 in the end in total, including a few shots from this squad here, so not too bad. And then the smasher guns over this side fired into the Intercessors, and I think we took out 4. Yeah, 4 from there, so that's pretty good for them. We're now going to head on into turn 6 assault for the Orks. Okay, so at the end of the assault phase, unfortunately failed the charges, even with the rerolls. So the Warboss is looking a little bit precarious at the end of turn 6. We'll head on into Crimson Fists, turn 6. Okay, so Crimson Fists have finished their turn. The shooting phase was enough to actually wipe out the Warboss and the boys, sadly, which resulted in quite a point swing in the end. So it's actually 14 points to the Crimson Fists and 5 to the Orks. So yeah, a bit of a pasting, but I guess we'll regroup and try it again soon. See if we can come up with something a little bit different. So yeah, that is the end of the battle report. I hope you all enjoyed watching. Obviously, if you like what you're seeing, give us a like and a subscribe. If you've got any suggestions of what I should add to my Ork army next, that would be great. So this is Tom from BlackToad Studio. Thanks for watching.